Hi everyone, welcome to the live stream. I'm Tisa Blackburn, your Acrylic Diva. And let's just see if everything's working properly. Hi everyone. It looks like it, because I can hear myself in the background. Okay, well, let's go right to the overhead camera today. We're going to do a Fauve-inspired beach painting. With a little bit of ocean, a little bit of a lagoon there. So let's get started. Okay, we're going to be using the same colors we always use, and that is benzimidazoline yellow, quinacridone magenta, phthalo blue, and titanium white. And those are all listed in the description. I am going to start with a little paint pen. I'm going to first get my chair out of the way. I'm going to draw in just a little rough composition so I kind of know where I'm going. We're going to start with these big hills. Let me get this footstool out of the way. We're going to start with these kind of big rocks type things. They're going to come right in on the side here like so. And we're going to have another one come in on this side. We're kind of painting a little cove today. And then this is going to come in like so. And then we're going to have our horizon line here. That's a little bit too high, I think. We might, well, we'll leave it and see how it works. Then our beach is going to be here in the foreground. And yeah, I don't like that horizon line at all. So let's pull our horizon line down about here. Yeah, that's much better. We'll just paint over that. And then we're going to have some tree, or not trees, but bushes type stuff here. Like this kind of bushes and so on. We'll have those there. Yeah, that's a pretty rough compositional drawing, isn't it? Okay, so now let's get started with some paint. I am going to start with my number 8. I usually start with my number 12. But I think I want to start with a number 8 today. Boy, I'm going to need a new number 8 pretty soon. These are such workhorses. These paintbrushes really do a good job. But when you use them every day for years, you do eventually have to refresh them, get a new set. So I'm going to start with my number 8. I'm going to lay down some titanium white. I'm going to go right over that area that I put my first horizon line in, which was incorrect. Just go right over that. Lay down that titanium white, nice and juicy. I like to work in what's called alla prima, which means wet into wet. So I like to work that way. And it also helps when you're working in acrylic, if you're working wet into wet, to have a lot of paint on the canvas. It keeps things from drying out too soon. So there is my titanium white. Let's grab a little of our phthalo blue, put our sky in, going right over the edges of those rock shapes. We're going to come back and work on those. But let's just put our sky in. And if you have questions, just put them in the chat box. I'm happy to answer those questions as we go. Okay. That looks pretty good. Let me wipe my brush a little bit. It's got a lot of paint on it. Wipe my brush. And let's put our water in now. And I don't want my water to be the same color as the sky. So I'm going to kind of green it up a little bit. Again, though, I'm going to start with titanium white. Put that down. Don't worry about going over the edges of those rocks. You definitely want the water to be under the rocks, right? That makes sense, right? So you do, if you go over the edges of the rocks, that's fine. Don't worry about that. Okay, just building up that titanium white. Got a fair amount of that down. Now I'm going to actually go back to my phthalo blue again, a little bit of phthalo blue. Too much phthalo blue. Boy, that phthalo blue is so strong. We're going to put that in right here. And because I don't want the water and the sky to be the same color, I'm going to bring a little of my yellow in. It's going to green up the water just a little bit, give it a little bit of that Caribbean look. And we need more titanium white. And see, it's giving it just a hint of a different color than the sky. And there's a lot of paint on the canvas too. I have a lot of paint down there. Wipe my brush. I almost never put my brush in the water, every once in a while, but not too often. More titanium white. Lighten up that water just a little bit. There we go. And you know, I try to gear all of these paintings so that you can do them about 30 minutes or less, usually about 20 minutes. So we're not doing a lot of really detailed stuff. We're doing big shapes and bold color. We're kind of going along with the Fauves and in terms of, you know, really bright color. Let's take a look at our camera here. My camera looks like it's going a little on the bright side. So I'm going to make sure you guys can see those colors really well. There we go. Just a little bit of a camera change there. Okay. So we've got this nice kind of green Caribbean colored water here, ocean. And that's looking pretty good. Wipe my brush. A little bit more titanium white. We'll just put a little bit of that in. And don't blend it too much. We can have a little bit of texture there, a little bit of maybe wave action. Just do some nice brush strokes there. There we go. Okay, wipe my brush. Now I'm going to put the beach in, and I'm going to wash my brush for this, which I don't do very often. I'm going to wash my brush and get most of that green off of it. I'm going to cover this whole area here. Let's make a kind of, we're going to call it sand. But you know, again, we're painting like the Fauves, so they actually didn't use what we call local color. They painted it any color they wanted. So if you want your sand to be pink or blue or whatever, doesn't matter. You can paint it anything you want. But I'm going to just come in here with more titanium white, and I'm going to switch to my number 12 because that 8 is just not big enough. The number 12 is the workhorse. So I'm going to put that in like so. That beach. Picked up a little bit of that watercolor there. Now I'll come back with a little bit of yellow. Maybe a little quin magenta, not too much quin magenta because it's pretty strong. See, it went pink right away. That's all right, we'll fix that. Let's get a little bit more yellow over here. And a little bit more titanium white. Just to kind of get kind of a sandy feel there. Okay. Now finally, we're going to put some shapes here for for bushes and things like that. So that's definitely going to be on the green side, but you know, we're going to go kind of crazy green like the Fauves would, like really wild, Crazy green with a lot of yellow in it. Bright green. And again, I'm putting that down pretty juicy. So this is just a basis for some foliage that we're going to do here later. I don't want it too juicy because I do want it to dry so that we can draw back on top of it. Okay, now we've got that all set. Let's do our rocks. My brush has green on it, so I'm actually going to wash my brush. And make sure, I'm going to make sure when I wash my brush, make sure that it's really dry. I don't want to bring any water to the canvas or to my paint or anything like that.